Hi there, welcome back. So today's video, something a bit different again. I'm showing you currently, or what I should say you can see. I'm just explaining what I've got in front of me. So that was a ball of jute string. We've got some gorgeous star anise, dried star anise. Lovely smell, aniseed, licoricey sort of smell. Very Christmassy. Next up, we've got some cinnamon sticks. Now this isn't cassia bark, that was the whole cinnamon sticks. And here we go, star of the show, oranges. Yeah, oranges. Now I'll give you a heads up, I've never made anything like this before. I've never made a garland wreath ever. So this was very much a first for me, but I did watch some few YouTube videos on how to dry out oranges, giving it away, and so on before I started this. So I've got two like net bags of oranges. They've got at least 5 in them, just standard oranges. And just need to make sure that I cut them in the right way. So make sure you cut them like that. So you're doing an actual slice, not a wedge, which is what I'm trying to explain here currently. So nice sharp knife, safe cutting surface, hold the orange steady and just slice down. So I'm just slicing off the end there, and then you need to make sure that you get about 1/4 to 1/2 centimetre thick slices. So then this bit's been sped up because you don't need to sit and watch me slice up oranges for 10 minutes. The end bits that don't have any of the sort of inner lovely juicy flesh on, or anywhere you get an odd shaped or a different size of thickness of slice, you can put to one side or trim down. Those, when you've dried them out, can go in potpourri, be lovely. So put them all on the surface, and then I've got some highly absorbent kitchen paper towel and just pressing it down onto them to try and soak up some of that moisture and the juice, because unfortunately, although fresh orange juice is lovely, you don't want these to be full of juice, or you want them to be as dried out as possible before you use them so that they work well. So that's one side done. Of course, nothing to stop you from putting down a layer of kitchen paper first, then placing the orange slices on top, then another layer of kitchen paper, and so on. If you're worried about the citric acid from the orange juice or getting on your hands, by all means pop a pair of gloves on if you've got sensitive skin. But fingers crossed, touch wood, my skin at the moment is really good, which is a bit of a first for me for a while. So just pressing down heavily, trying to soak up as much of that initial juice as possible. Going to now cut the rest up of those oranges, and which you are going to see on a time lapse. There we go. So that's me just cutting up the rest of that bag of oranges. I did do both of the bags in the end. There we go. Look at those. They look lovely. You could eat them. Literally could eat them. You could possibly even do a candied version of orange slices and then have them on top of cakes or in cakes and so on. So what we've got here now, this is a sheet of greaseproof baking paper, and we're going to pop out all of the slices onto the baking sheet, and then we're going to bake for a minimum of 4 hours in the oven. So if you've got a dehydrator, by all means use that. If you haven't, then turn the oven down really, really low. We've got an electric fan oven, so we popped it onto, like, I think it was not even 50 degrees, and popped it in. Now this is what they looked like after a couple of hours. 2 to 3 hours later, they look like this. So as you can see, as we go in a bit close there, sorry about all the wobbling around with the camera, they look like that. Now this is them at the end. We did go back through the cooking period and just keep turning them over. So once every hour, go in, turn the slices over, and they look like this. So you've got different levels of colour, from like the deep golden orange through to almost like the caramelized brownie colours. Some of them are darker than others. That's absolutely fine. There are some tips out there to stop them from going the dark colour, but I quite like these. So change of location just to show you them in the bowl. You can sort through them, which is what I was thinking of doing to start with. Obviously that piece there, that's got to go in the potpourri. That's fine. Some of them are still a little bit too moist. They're not quite dry enough. So I'm going to put those ones to one side. So I sorted through and decided which ones I was going to use. Now, a couple of other things that I didn't show you at the beginning. We've got these. They look like miniature acorns. They're not. I'm not sure what they are actually. You can see one of my little dogs wandering around there. Apologies. So we're going to use those. We're also going to use these beautiful faux red berries. Anything wherever possible, we will link in the description box. Now I'm showing you some lovely green thin floristry wire. We didn't actually use that. Moving on back to my usual crafting place. I'm going to cover the whole of this polystyrene ring that you can see there in the lovely gold see-through ribbon. It's got a wired edge surface, and I just thought it would make a nice contrast to the orange peel, or the orange slices, dried orange slices. Now, going in with the glue gun, make sure if you've got a cordless glue gun, one, that you've got enough glue sticks, and two, that you've got it charged up enough. Yes, things I remembered whilst doing this. And all I've done is popped a bit of the glue on. Now go careful because it's going to be hot. I did touch it there very lightly and then thought better of it. So just wrapped it round. Now I did do a test run of this to see if I had anywhere near enough ribbon. I haven't. I am a little bit short, and that's even with trying not to overlap it. We've got a tiny overlaps going on. And even with that, the ribbon I had, now I had a strange measurement, 2.7 meters of ribbon on this reel, whereas really I could have done with 3 meters. But, you know, I bought what they had at the time, and this is what it looks like. So we've got a little bit of overlap going on, which, you know, that's it, it's fine. But we do have a little gap which we're going to hide. Now you could hide that, you could just put some more gold ribbon on if you wanted to, or you could put a contrasting coloured ribbon, like for example this lovely green sort of Hessian jute ribbon that we have, but I decided not to in the end. But I'm quite pleased with that. There we go. So just looking at it, showing you there what the dried orange slices look like. You could dry lemons, you could do grapefruit, you could do limes, be lovely. Now, this is me now putting together the embellishments for that golden ring. I've cut off a length of the green sort of Hessian jute ribbon. It's beautiful ribbon, this. And just sticking it down to make a very organic, rustic looking bow. I'm stopping very short of saying the word messy. And then just pushing it down through, using more glue when needed. By the way, does anybody else, when they use a glue gun, get little trails of very fine threads of the glue left behind? I waited till this was completely dry and then went in with a pair of scissors and snipped all of those off, because obviously you don't want lots of little threads hanging. So I really wanted to try and incorporate some of these larger pine cones as well, but I decided not to try and do it as a decoration on the wreath, but did do it as a hanging piece, which you'll see. Do love these red berries, absolutely love them. Now the tail for the wire on those was a bit long, so I just grabbed a paintbrush, or if you've got a pencil, wrapped it round it and then squished it up together nice and flat, and then used the glue gun to secure it in place. There we go. Decided not to put my finger on red hot glue. This took quite a bit of glue actually. I think I used up about 4 or 5 glue sticks in total to do the whole of the wreath. I don't know if that's a lot or not, because never having done this before, but so pleased with the end result of this. So here we are, just making up the design as we go. Still trying to incorporate those large pine cones. Gave up a bit actually, to be honest. Now adding in more of those gorgeous slices. There we are. And also made up, I cut some long lengths of wire that I have. This is just craft wire. It's lovely bronze coppery colour, and then curled them. And the way I made that lovely curly spring was to wrap it round like a marker pen, and then push it together, take it off the pen, and then just pull it out slightly and bend it. It's quite easily and malleable, able to manipulate that, quite easy enough to be able to do that if you want to, and you can just add it in. So there goes one of those lovely star anise flowers. They smell so nice. Honestly, whilst I was doing this, I just thought it really evokes the senses and the smells of Christmas. But then also looking at it, there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't also use this for autumn or fall season if you wanted to, or Thanksgiving maybe. There we go. I mean, you could make it a bit more Christmassy by adding in, you know, some green spray foliage. I mean, that would look just as lovely. But I was quite happy with the colours. It's lovely warm gold tones, orange tones. And those of you who know our channel will know that we're a bit partial to a bit of gold. And yes, this project doesn't escape that. If you've joined us today to watch and you're not subscribed, why not subscribe? It's free to do so. Hit the notification all button. Drop us a comment. Have you made any Christmas wreaths or garlands this Christmas? Or have you been to a garland or Christmas wreath making classes? We looked at those in our areas. Little bit on the pricey side, I have to say. But maybe next year. We'll see. But I really, really enjoyed doing this. Really enjoyed doing this. So here we go. Gold gilt paint. One of my old little brushes that I don't mind it getting a bit hard and a little bit, you know, use it, and then I'm afraid probably abused this paintbrush a little bit, but used it and I haven't cleaned it properly, which is a bit naughty of me. But I have it for doing this sort of thing, so it's absolutely fine if the bristles are rigid, I suppose is what I'm saying, because I just want it to be kissing the tops of some of the areas of those lovely, the dried orange segments, the star anise, those little miniature sort of, they almost look like little dried flowers, the pine cones, and the berries. And I even put it on some of that lovely green Hessian ribbon. Obviously you don't have to do this, you don't have to do this step at all, but I just wanted to, I wanted to bling it up a little bit. An alternative to this, if you don't like the idea of the gold or the gold paint, why not mix some glitter, colour of your choice, in with some UV resin and dab it onto different areas and cure it with the UV torch or light. That would look just as lovely. So just adding it all in. As you can see, this is a bit of a time lapse of me doing that, because I took my time doing this, and I just love doing these extra little flourishes, just brings it to life. So this is me doing the rest of this garland. It is a time lapse, so I'm afraid it looks like I'm going absolutely crazy making it. I wasn't, but I did spend another hour or so just putting this all together, taking my time, deciding what to put where, trying to get it symmetrical, but I wasn't too worried if it wasn't. So just going in again with the gold paint. There we are. I mean, you could add all sorts of things. If you've got some lovely little holly leaves, if you've got some little angels, you could add those in. So that's the two sides done. Now, do you remember we've got that gap on the base? So I decided I took a length of this lovely green Hessian ribbon, and I'm going to cover it up. So there we go. I've just done exactly the same process as I did with the gold ribbon, glued it into place, and I'm quite happy with that. Then took another length of this green Hessian ribbon and made an organic bow shape, let's call it that, for it. I'm not going to say the words mess around. I did fuss with it a little bit, because I thought, how on earth am I going to do this so that it looks right? And, you know, it looks right and it matches up with the sides. I'm not normally worried if things aren't matching, but I thought for this, it probably does need to be matching. So once I was happy, I popped a bit of the glue from the glue gun, and then I secured the ribbon to it. Because you're going to cover bits of this up. Here we go. In with the orange slices again. And the glue gun. And just deciding what to put where as well. I mean, you could do this on a moss-based wreath, or a one that's sort of like made from willow branches, you know, the willow branches, or wire. Totally up to you if you want to do that. And actually then you could use the floristry wire to wire in all these pieces if that's what you want to do. Now, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to try this with the foam, the polystyrene ring that we purchased, and I think it worked out quite well, to be honest. Another thing I've seen is the green oasis foam that florists use. Now, obviously, if you're going to use that, make sure that you do dampen it slightly before you use it. Not soak it, just dampen it slightly. But then you're going to try and secure all of your living foliage. So any green foliage, leaves, sprigs, holly, flowers, if you want to put them in, make sure that you are actually wiring them into the actual oasis base itself, if that makes sense. There's lots of different ways you can do this. You know, if you search on YouTube or on the internet, there's lots of examples. This is just what we decided to do. Now, this one I cut off using some wire snips there. Don't use your best scissors because you will blunt them. I used some wire snips and just cut off some of the little berries because I wanted to just make a little feature of them around the base of this ring. Do you like the overall look of this? Let us know in the comments. What colour theme have you got for Christmas? Do you have a colour theme? Have you made your own garland? You know, be lovely to know if you have. So just adding some more of these beautiful aniseed flowers in. And then, yes, we're going to pop some more gold on. Why not? Why not? Now, I did try and add in the coils, and in the end I decided not to. So here we go, in with this lovely gold gilt paint. And as I've said before, wherever possible, we will link in the description box where you can purchase these items. Majority of it, apart from the oranges, I think were via Amazon. Some of the ribbon was from Hobbycraft. The polystyrene ring was from Hobbycraft. But if you go to Hobby Lobby, if you're in the States, or is it Lowe's or Michael's, they probably do exactly the same sort of thing. But we'll link it all in the description as best as we can for you. But I really love this. I really, really like this. So just need to sort out the top. Now I've made like what I can only call is a cluster of these pine cones, and popped a bit of one of those like little corkscrew wires through them. So the pine cones came with some little bits of gold thread, so I've just threaded it through the different twists and coils on that one of those wire coils that I made earlier. Got it to roughly half this piece of wire, and then we're just literally going to wrap it round the top. Make sure that it's firmly secured. Now I have put the ribbon on first. You can put it on afterwards if you want to. That's just a thin piece of ribbon. I did like the red and the green together, and that is what you're going to have securely tied that at the top, and then you're going to knot that at the very top of that little thin piece of ribbon. You're going to knot those two thin pieces of ribbon together at the very top, and then that will act as your loop for where you hang your garland from. So I've just wrapped that wire around a couple of times, twisted those two ends together, and then pushed it in tight against the wreath. There we go. We're also going to hide that, because that's, you know, you don't really want that on show. You could hide it by just sticking on a very large bow. If you are better at making bows than I am, then why not do that? Or you can do as what I've done here. Now I have stuck a couple of cinnamon sticks on. There we go. That's the top there with those larger pine cones and everything else. The slices, the star anise, those little miniature pine cone flower type shapes, and some of the red berries. I absolutely love this. And of course I'm going in with a final shot of a little bit of the gold gilt paint. Beautiful. Now we've got a couple of end shots. Here we go. They're very close up here. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. We even got the thumbs up from our son Hugo, who said, "Mum, that's great." I thought that was high praise from him. Sorry about the shot either side there. I had to pan out really far to get the whole picture of the wreath in its entirety. But thanks for watching this video. Hope you're enjoying the Craftmas videos that are coming out, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care. Bye bye.